All right, let's dive into one of the weirdest, most head-scratching stats in recent NFL history. It is a story about an offense that looked absolutely unstoppable, right up until the very moment it mattered most, and it led to a record that no team ever wants to have.
So that's the central question here, isn't it? It's a total paradox. How can your offense be so good that you never ever have to punt, but you still lose the game? Well, that's the unbelievable story of this Green Bay Packers season. And it really all comes down to one single baffling number. 3. That's it. Just 3. And you're probably thinking, what does that even mean? It's not Super Bowl rings, it's not All Pros. Nope. It's something much, much stranger than that. Get this. 3 is the number of games the Packers lost this season after playing the entire game without their punter ever stepping on the field. It's a truly historic achievement, and believe me, not in a good way. Now, to really understand how wild this is, you gotta look at the history books. We're talking more than 60 years of pro football. In the entire Super Bowl era, only a couple of teams had ever lost 2 no-punt games in a season. The Packers didn't just break that record, they absolutely shattered it. So let's really get to the heart of this. Why is this so bizarre? Why does a no-punt game almost always mean you won? Well, it all comes down to this fundamental clash between how football is supposed to work in theory and Green Bay's very painful reality. See, on paper, not punting is the absolute dream scenario. It means your offense is just a machine, right? You're marching up and down the field at will. But for these Packers, it was a total nightmare. Every single one of those promising drives ended not with a punt, but with something so much worse. A drive-killing turnover or a soul-crushing failure on a critical down. They could do everything except finish the job. Okay, so let's dig in. How on earth did this happen? Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times? I mean, the game logs themselves tell this story of repeated, almost unbelievable self-destruction. It all started right here, Week 9, a close, grinded-out game against the Panthers. You look at the stat sheet, and the Packers' offense seemed to be moving the ball pretty well. But, the scoreboard tells a very different story. So they had 7 possessions in this game, and not a single punt. Sounds great, right? But look closer. A fumble, a missed field goal, an interception, a failed 4th down deep in Carolina territory. They piled up 369 yards of offense, but somehow only squeezed 13 points out of it. That is just spectacularly inefficient. Now, you'd think they would have learned their lesson. But nope. Then came Week 16, a huge rivalry game against the Bears, a brutal 4th quarter collapse, and a loss in overtime. And again, the punter might as well have been watching from the stands. And the pattern is just, it's painful to look at. A fumble, a failed 4th down way down in Chicago's end of the field. But the real dagger, that last drive, it's overtime. You've got a chance to win it all. And on 4th and 1, they fail. They just hand the ball and the game right to the Bears. Just, ouch. And then, the game that officially cemented their place on the wrong side of NFL history. Against the Ravens, they actually managed to score 24 points. And you'd think that would have to be enough when your offense never punts. Well, you'd be wrong. It is the same old story, just with a few more points on the board. I mean, they scored 3 touchdowns. And still, the same old drive killers popped up. 2 failed 4th downs, a fumble, an interception. It's like watching a car drive 99 yards down the field, only to run out of gas at the 1-yard line. Over and over and over again. So, when you actually look at all 3 of these games together, the culprits aren't exactly hiding. A really clear, undeniable pattern of failure just jumps right out at you. Yeah, it wasn't just one thing. It was this perfect storm of mistakes at the worst possible moments. You had costly turnovers deep in the other team's territory, and this complete inability to convert on 4th down. This wasn't bad luck. It was a consistent failure to execute when the game was on the line. And hey, just look at the numbers right here. In those last 2 no-punt losses alone, the Packers went for it on 4th down 5 times. They failed on 4 of them. 4 out of 5. You simply cannot win football games when you failed that consistently in clutch situations. It's impossible. But okay, now we get to the final, most unbelievable, almost comical twist in this whole saga. With an offense that couldn't stop shooting itself in the foot, what happened to the one guy whose only job is to, punt?
Let's talk about Daniel Whelan for a second. Probably the loneliest man in Green Bay on those 3 game days. You'd think with an offense this productive that his workload would be pretty light, and you would be absolutely right. He punted the ball just 41 times the entire season. And that is an absurdly low number. It just confirms what we already knew. The offense was great at moving the ball between the 20s. They just fell apart after that. But this is where the story goes from just frustrating to truly ironic. Okay, this quote here might be the understatement of the century. He wasn't just solid. When he actually got the chance to do his job, he was one of the absolute best in the entire league. That was his average, 51.3 yards per punt. Now, for those of you who don't track punting stats religiously, let me just tell you, that is an absolutely elite number.
And here it is, the ultimate punchline. The team that set a record for not punting had the best punter in the entire NFL, just standing on the sidelines, watching. The one guy who could have flipped the field and helped out the defense was made completely useless by an offense that just insisted on failing in the most dramatic way possible. I mean, you couldn't write this stuff. And really, that's what this all boils down to. It leaves us with this truly fascinating, almost philosophical football question. What's more frustrating for a fan? An offense that can't even get a first down, or one that gives you all this hope on every single drive, only to rip your heart out at the very last second? Well, the Green Bay Packers found out this season, and in doing so, they earned a bizarre place in NFL history that they never ever wanted.